describe your conversion experience?
My experience with him is I fought him until I was about 27. And at that moment, I was absolutely broken. And every question that I had, I said, okay, if you're real, you're going to answer this, 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 and this. And within a month and a half period, he answered every one of those questions, plus other ones that I didn't specifically talk to him about. And at that moment, I said, okay, you win, I'm wrong. It's like a surrender. It's like it wasn't a joyous thing at all. It was a moment of defeat for me because my adversary won. And at that moment, that's when I realized he was real. And I got sucked into the Christian world of going to church here, hugging people, this and that. And after 3 years, I said, you know what, God, I became the hypocrite I hated. I became just, there's nothing behind it. And if you died just so that I can go to church, forget about it. I don't want it anymore. And that is when I believe the ministry really got started. And he started bringing people to us and saying, hey, can you help us? Let me see what I can do to just try to show you his love. That looks like a sandwich to a hungry person. That looks like a rehab center to somebody who's coming off of crack. That looks like a hug to a child who doesn't have a parent that even cares about them. I look at the church today, and if there's a third of Americans claim that they're Christians, why is America the way it is? Why do we have soup lines? Why has the inner city expanded into the suburbs? It's because God's people are not adequately representing his love to people.
Out of all the neighborhoods in Las Vegas, why did you pick that neighborhood?
Because God picked it for us. We started as a group of people just going out and doing outreaches. We'd throw a lot of groceries or whatever in the back of a pickup truck and just go into a neighborhood and look for people to bless. During one of those times, we went to the Naked City because there's a lot of need there, and there's a city building called the Bob Stupak Center. We went in and spoke with the director and said, hey, we'd like to do an outreach in using your facility for your neighborhood. We're Christian. Do you have a problem with that? And they said, no, please come. That next weekend, we did an outreach. We had 500 people show up. We gave them food, we gave them household items, everything. They said, hey, can you come back for next month and do the same thing? We said, yeah, not a problem, and 1,000 people showed up. And then after that, the Stratosphere calls us and says, hey, we want to do an outreach similar to what you guys are doing in the Naked City, and we're going to rename the Naked City Meadows District or whatever they were going to call it, still the Naked City. But we don't know how to do an outreach. Can you guys show us how to do it? And so we partnered with the Stratosphere in the city of Las Vegas as well as with Metro, and we did a big community event in April of 2009, and we had almost 2,000 people show up. And from there, one of the business owners who owns an apartment complex in that neighborhood said, hey, I think you guys are the last hope for this neighborhood. I want you to set up shop here. It's investing in, and that's kind of how we got started. When you see that teenager over there, are you talking to them, or did you immediately as an adult say, oh, those teenagers, I don't know why they wear their pants down their mid-thigh and all those things, or are you investing in that person? Because I'll tell you what, that child that's invested into is not going to go into that lifestyle. They're not. They're not going to be lured by a boyfriend who's or by a pimp who's masquerading as a boyfriend. They're not going to do that because they feel loved by somebody else instead of the counterfeit love that's out there. At the point when you see something that's out there that's fishy, that you think that, hey, there's something not right about that, call Metro right away. You could actually save the life of a child at that point.
We talked earlier about this other interviewee I had who puts all his efforts into educating people to be missionaries. It seems to me that the effort that would bear the most fruit would be for the mission to teach them typing, how to use Excel, Microsoft Word, internet browsing.
Yeah. So
rather than spending a lot of energy on trying to convert them.
Well, here's
what's your views on that?
Okay, here's my look at it, and I know the organization you're talking about, and they do incorporate that. I've been to a couple bases in Mexico where that is part of it. I believe the way I look at that is, first off and foremost, without Christ, I'm not doing what I'm doing. Flat out. There's no reason I would do it. There's no way I would do it. I didn't do it before, and I can sure guarantee I would not be doing it now. So my faith has everything to do with what we do. Everything to do. If it wasn't there, there's no way I would do that. And you know what? How many lives would be affected by that? We do the job training. we will actually get, if somebody says, hey, I've got an interview, you know what? I'm on the phone to people saying, give me your business clothes for this size. So they can go into an interview and actually feel good about themselves. So they can go in there with the right skills, the right look. Help them with a resume. Help them getting basic things like driver's licenses. And at the same time, what we've done is network with a couple of the business owners in our area, because we're off of in the Naked City industrials right next to us. There's a lot of manufacturers and warehouses right there. Well, we've had a couple of them, the owners of those companies, come see exactly what we do, and they say, we'll hire anybody that you want us to. Really?
Even convicted felons?
That's the question I asked them. I said, what about drug charges and what about felons? They go, if you're the one that referring them, we will take them. And you know what they have. And I've seen families get totally transformed because the dad is now working, because the mom is now working. Whatever the dynamic is, there's somebody in that household, especially from a male point of view. If we as men, if we are not working, we feel worthless. So now all of a sudden that job has given us self-esteem, it's given us stability. The kids get to see what it means to actually, work. And so the whole entire family dynamic changes. Why? Because somebody went out there and said, I'll vouch for you. Go ahead. Forget about what happened in your past. It doesn't matter anymore. Go ahead. This person's going to hire you. And so we do that a lot. So as far as to your point with learning how to type and those things, that's absolutely essential. We have to have it. But to negate God and pull him out of that, without my faith, there's no reason I would even invest in somebody's life.